What's up, my recovery family? Hope you're all doing fantastic today. Hope you had a great day. Hopefully, it's another day clean and sober. And if you woke up earlier than I did today, then you've got more time than I do. That being said, welcome to the Your Recovery Mentor channel. Today, we're going to be talking about forgiveness and how much forgiveness plays a role in recovery and keeping your recovery. Now, I'm going to tell a personal story about me and how forgiveness played a major role in my life. But before we get into that, we have to talk about why forgiveness is so important, especially forgiving the unforgivable. Now, when I was very young, I had something happen to me that I don't choose to voice over this public of a platform, but it was something that was life-altering, that screwed me up in the head for the rest of my life, and that I didn't talk about until I was 30 years old. And what was done to me in my mind and in many other people's minds would be deemed unforgivable. Not only that, but I was also bullied for 2 straight years in junior high. I moved to a new location from Northern California to Southern California, and when I went to junior high, as a new kid, I dressed different, I looked different, and I was an easy target. I was a skinny kid back then, and I got bullied and picked on every single day while I was in junior high. Ate lunch alone. I had 2 friends, my brother and my next door neighbor, and that was it. And it was, for those of you who have been bullied, you know what it's like. It's torment, it's torture. It's someone that's basically like crushing your self-esteem and crushing your confidence on a daily basis and making you feel like you are just like completely less than. You're an ant on the ground. You're insignificant. And I feel so bad for anyone who has to go through such a thing. That's why when I see people getting bullied, I get so incredibly frustrated, and I'll do whatever I can to stop that from happening. All that being said, this last time that I went to treatment, I finally opened up about what happened to me when I was younger. And it wasn't with my therapist, it wasn't with my case manager or counselor, it was with my sponsor. And I told my sponsor what happened to me on my 5th step. Another reason why, working the steps can be incredibly beneficial. And I told him what happened. I almost didn't, to be honest with you. I almost continued to keep it a secret. But I remember like it was yesterday. I read through all of my 4-step with him. And he asked me, is there anything else that you're forgetting? Is there anything that you're intentionally leaving out that you don't want to tell me? And I sat there quiet for, it had to be 30 seconds to a minute. And I said, you know what, Casey, there is one more thing I need to tell you. And I went on to tell him what happened to me. And that was the first time that I spoke about it to another human being in over 20 years. And it was liberating, first and foremost, to be able to finally share that with someone else. That's what I experienced and what I went through, and in that particular situation, I was 100% a victim. I had no role to play in it. There was no responsibility to be had in it. It was a 100%. It was definitely. Just thinking about it now kind of makes me emotional, but definitely was the victim in that situation. And what he told me to do is he told me, you have to forgive this individual. And I said, no flipping way. I'm not going to forgive him after what he did to me. He did what I would consider to be unforgivable. Why would I forgive him? He's not worthy of forgiveness. He doesn't deserve my forgiveness. He deserves to rot in hell. He deserves to go to prison. He deserves, to be tortured, honestly, to be castrated, to be, you name it. Why on earth would I forgive such an individual? And his answer to me was, look, it's not for you. You're not forgiving him for him. Because who knows what he's doing now? He could be alive, he could be dead, he could be homeless, he could be living a life of luxury. Who knows what's going on with him in his current life right now? But he still has an effect on you. I'm like over 20 years later, this much later, he still is renting room in your head. You have to forgive him, because it's the only way that this is going to go away. And me, wanting to do whatever it took to stay clean and sober, I said, okay, Casey, if that's what you really think I need to do, then I'm willing to give it a try. I don't agree with it, but I'll try it. If that's your suggestion, I'll give it a shot. And so I said, how do I do this, though? I haven't seen this individual in God knows how many years. And like you said, I have no clue where he is. I have no clue what he's doing. I have no clue if he's alive or dead. How do I forgive someone when I have no contact with them whatsoever? And he said, I want you to write him a letter. And I want you to write him a letter, and I want you to wholeheartedly forgive him for what he did to you. And I said, okay. And so I did. But I did not wholeheartedly do it the first time. I half-assed it, because I was just trying to do what my sponsor told me to do. I wanted to follow a suggestion, but I didn't agree with it still. So I didn't put my full effort into it. And I wrote a letter of forgiveness to this person who did something unforgivable. And the next time I met with Casey, my sponsor, he said, okay, did you do it? And I said, yeah, I wrote the letter. He said, okay, read it to me. So I did. And he said, okay, that's a good attempt, but you can do better. I'm not hearing forgiveness in that letter. I'm hearing you doing the assignment, but you're not doing it 100%. It's a half-measured, half-assed effort. You need to do this 100% because you have to come to the conclusion that this is for you. Now, something really odd happened only a couple days after I met with Casey that time, after writing that first letter, that still kind of blows me away to this day. And I don't believe in coincidences. If you do, more power to you, but I don't believe in coincidences anymore. Too many things have happened that have lined up too perfectly for me to continue to believe that it all happened by coincidence. So I was still going to treatment at this time, and one of the people that I met with, he was a pastor, and he could tell that I was going through something, and so I met with him on a one-on-one basis, and I kind of filled him in on what me and my sponsor talked about, and he agreed with my sponsor that I needed to forgive this individual. And he showed me this picture, and it was a picture of a man that was chained to a rock, like literally like in the fetal position, covered in chains to this big giant boulder. And he couldn't move. You could tell like he was in anguish and just completely trapped against this boulder. And then it showed another picture of him breaking through the chains and finding this freedom, right? No longer being locked down to this rock, this boulder. And the chains were broken. And he said, you know what the difference is between picture 1 and picture 2? And I said, well, yeah, 1, in the first picture, he's completely locked up. He's got nowhere to go. And in picture 2, he's been freed. And he looked at me and he said, that's what forgiveness does for us, is it frees us. So again, just like your sponsor said, you're not forgiving him for him and for his sake. You're forgiving him for your sake, so that you can finally come to a conclusion. You can finally have some sense of, finality with this situation. And you can finally move forward from what happened to you all those years ago. You have to break the chains. You have to stop letting this guy stay in your head rent-free. And the only way you're going to do that is by wholeheartedly forgiving him. And again, it's not for you, it's for him. It's not for him, it's for you. And that kind of, something clicked when he told me that. It started to make sense. That the only effect that is going on right now by me still having hate in my heart towards this person is it's causing me anguish. It's causing me, emotional damage. It's causing me to feel pity, to feel sorry for myself, to feel guilty, to feel shameful, all these negative emotions. And who knows what the other person feels about it, if they feel anything at all. But why would I give someone that type of power over me? Do I really want to give someone who did something so despicable that much power over myself? Well, of course the answer is no. Because they don't deserve to have that power over me. And if I have to forgive this individual wholeheartedly in order to move past that, so I can free myself like that man was freed in those pictures, then that's what I'm going to do. And so I met with my sponsor again, and I wrote a second letter. And this time I put more heart into it, more soul into it, more emotion into it. And I met with him, and I read it to him, and I was crying, and he could tell that from an emotional standpoint a lot was released when I not only wrote but read that letter out loud to him. Because it's one thing to write a letter, and I'm a big believer in writing letters as a tool of therapy and therapeutic use. But when you read it out loud to another individual or a group of people, it's a completely different feeling. I don't even know how to explain it. You would have to do it yourself to feel the effects of it, because it's so much more powerful when it's read aloud to another individual or a group of people. And after I was done reading it, and he could see the emotions that were released, he asked me, "How do you feel?" And I said, honestly, I'm not blowing smoke. I feel better. I feel a lot better now. And he said, "Okay, that's great. Now what I want you to do is, in the next meeting you go to, I want you to share about what happened to you." I was like, whoa, Casey, okay. Baby steps here, man. You want me to share with an entire group of strangers something that I've kept secret for over 20 years? He said, "Yes, it's exactly what I want you to do." And I was willing to do whatever it took. I was willing to follow any suggestions. So the next meeting I went to, I raised my hand. I said, "Hey, my name is Josh. I'm an addict. My sponsor's saying I need to do this, so here it goes." And I shared with the room what happened to me. And the response that I received, the overwhelming sense of understanding and love that I got from the room, and the people that shared after me who have been through similar situations, showing me that I'm not alone in what I went through, that's something that I will never forget. So the moral of the story is, sometimes, not even sometimes, all the time, forgiveness is always the right answer, regardless of what the situation is, because you're not doing it for them. You're doing it for you. You're doing it to free yourself, just like the picture of the man in chains. You're doing it to unlock those chains so that you can experience freedom from that situation that happened to you, so that it no longer holds you down. It no longer has control over you. It no longer is in your head living there rent-free. You are taking power back by forgiving the individual, even if it's unforgivable. Now, that being said, that doesn't mean that I have to like this individual. That doesn't mean I have to be cool with what happened. That doesn't mean I have to forget what happened. It just means that I have to forgive them. That's it. And that's what I did. And ever since then, anytime someone brings something up similar to what happened to me, I share with them the story that I just told you. to let them know why we forgive people and that they're not alone. So if you've experienced some type of trauma in your childhood, I want you to know that you're not alone. And I want you to know that even though you may not want to, even though you may not think that that individual is worthy of forgiveness, and they probably aren't, to be honest with you, you should still forgive them anyways. Because with forgiveness comes freedom for ourselves, so that we can continue to move forward with our life. And that moment, that series of moments had a huge impact on my recovery. And it's probably, to be honest with you, a big reason why I'm still clean and sober today, over 8 years later. I will never ask you to do something that I've never done before. And I will never ask you to do something that doesn't have purpose behind it. But if you are struggling with someone who has done you dirty in ways unmanageable, you need to find it in your heart to forgive them wholeheartedly, so that you can move past whatever event, whatever abuse, whatever it was, whatever trauma that you experienced. Do it for you. Do it to free yourself. Do it so that you can continue to move forward on the path of long-term recovery. And once you do that, and you wholeheartedly do it, a weight will be lifted like never before. You will experience peace like you haven't experienced in a long time. We call it serenity, right? Peace of mind. You will experience that serenity just by doing a simple act of forgiveness. So that's what I encourage you to do, is forgive. You don't have to forget, but you can forgive. And again, for the 112th time, you're doing it for you, not for them. And it's not a debate about whether or not they're worthy of forgiveness. It's a debate of whether or not you're worthy of freedom, which you are. So that's why I always say at the end of my videos, if nobody's told you they love you today, I love you. Because first and foremost, we all want to be loved. And I want you to know that there's at least one person out there that has love for you, that does love you. And why I always say that you are worthy of love and you are worthy of forgiveness. Because we all are. No matter what we've done, no matter the horrible things we've done to others, we're still worthy of love and we're still worthy of forgiveness. And we have to come to that conclusion. If you are in recovery, you are no longer the person that you used to be. You are a new person. You've basically been reborn. You know, not to sound too like religious-y, but you've been reborn. You're a new person now. A person who doesn't act to behave like they used to do back in the days of their addiction and alcoholism. And this new person is most definitely worthy of love and forgiveness and so much more. And I hope that you realize that. And if you don't realize it yet, that's okay. That's where you're supposed to be right now. But I hope one day you do realize that you are worthy of love and forgiveness and so much more. So that's what I got for you guys today. I hope you have an amazing rest of your day. Remember, it's all about the way we think and the way that we perceive. Continue to constantly work on that. Continue to focus on the positive versus the negative, and your life will inevitably continue to get better. God bless each and every one of you. If nobody's told you they love you today, I love you. I've got nothing but love for you. And like I just said, you are worthy of love. You are worthy of forgiveness. You have so much potential that you don't even realize it. And you have so many gifts and talents that have yet to be tapped into. And one day I'll shoot a video on that, because we all have them. Because we were blessed and cursed with an obsession of the mind, which we can use to our benefit. And someday I'll explain that to you. and what that means. Maybe in the next video, that's what I'll do. But remember, this is about you. You come first. You have to. This is a selfish, selfless program. It is an easy program, a simple program for complicated people. And it can be done. It can be done by anyone. All you got to do is stay honest with others and yourself, keep an open mind, and be willing to try new things and step outside of your comfort zone on a consistent basis. If you can do that, you've got a real shot at long-term recovery. So I hope you all enjoyed this video. I hope you got something out of it. I hope at least one person that watches this video gets something out of it. And until the next video, peace out.